gonna
Quick
do
transition.
an Among Us segment here. This is our segment where we try to find an imposter in the group. So we're looking at currently the playoff teams, sort of like what you would say standing wise, the best teams in the league. And I don't think that there's really that many teams outside of these ones that you'd argue are the best team in the league. Because we're more than halfway through the season here, getting the playoffs, at least getting the picture. And so we're going to just kind of we have it in front of us, right? And we're just going to kind of talk and pick through teams that we think either stand out in a positive way, like these guys are far above the rest, this team, and why, or what team doesn't belong here in the playoffs, whether they're going to sneak in or not. You've got certain teams that are in here on a 6th, 7th wild card. Do they belong? Are they imposters? So we're just kind of freelancing this one, but I think I got plenty of notes here. But Jack, do you want to kind of start? I know.
Ooh, do I want to pick the first imposter? Well, I think I'm looking at this relatively, right? We have this. We're looking at the standings right now. The Dolphins are the 2 seed in the AFC.
Yeah,
they're the 2 seed in the AFC. That is kind of suspect to me.
Oh, really?
I'm kind of cold. I'm kind of cold on the Dolphins. Dare I say? I know.
Really?
I've been all season. I know. The first couple of weeks I was ice cold, and then they really started to impress, and then I was like, okay, fine, I'll accept that they're a top team. But I don't know. I think that they're a playoff team, 100%. 100%. I think they make the playoffs, even just based on their record. Like, even if you forget, hey. No, I mean, even like I mean talent. Like, I'm not just talking their record. I even mean talent wise. I think they're a playoff team. But I don't know. I think that Patriots Dolphins game week 1 was a lot closer than the scoreline makes it look. The scoreline looked like it was 21-7. I've been thinking about this game. The scoreline looked like it was 21-7, and it was, right? Right, it was, but that game was a lot closer than a 21-7 scoreline would have you think. Having watched that was an opening game of the season. I watched the whole thing. It was just slightly closer. There was a couple more, maybe you could say high variance plays. I would say there were multiple what I would call a high variance play going in the Dolphins' favor. What I mean by that is something that, it will happen. Yeah, it's still a sign of talent. It's still it's not like a credit against you. But if you play a game 100 times, it's only going to happen occasionally. There's only occasionally some things are going to happen. Makes me kind of cold on the Dolphins. I think not cold enough to knock them out, not cold enough to say that they're like the true imposter, But I think at the 2 seed, when you might look at it, it might look like they're competing for the top seat in the AFC, right? I do not think they're at that. When I think top team in the AFC talent wise, I do not think the Dolphins, and I think that. Looking at the standings, I look like they're higher up than they should be. I think they should be a playoff team, but I do not think that they're a top team in the AFC.
Wow,
there you go. Surprise take.
I'm here to push back on that hard. Okay, do you know the losses that this Dolphins team has in the season? They are 7-3. Do you know who they've lost to? I'm gonna tell you. They've lost to the Jets, the Bengals
without Tua.
And the Vikings. This was all without Tua. Without Tua. They haven't lost when they've had their starting QB in. All right, and my whole take from this, which I didn't know we were going to just break this all open, but I look at all these teams, the 14 that are in the playoffs currently, and I only see 2 imposters, and one of them is kind of like a half imposter. The only imposter I see is the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the only team that doesn't belong because everybody else, I have massive question marks about. Yes. I don't feel good about any of them. Kansas City, I mean, it's obviously.
What are you worried about?
It's Kansas City.
Like this was it was a close game, but like what, you're worried about a close game? Like they won.
Their defense can give up points, and we've seen for some reason they can give up a bad game to the Colts. Okay. These things happen to good teams, an
occasional freebie,
right? They toss them, So, but Kansas City, even in their losses or even in their wins, sometimes they will give up points. They gave up 27 to the Chargers. I think that's kind of a lot, but who cares? They're going to score more than that, Who cares? They could be down 20 going into the fourth. I'd be hard pressed to bet against them. And so to say that, the other half imposter, I think right now, is Miami. What Miami is like Kansas City light. Okay, it's like it's
because of Tyreek.
No, but legitimately, their offense. If they were down or whatever, or they needed a score, I like their offense pretty much better than anyone's except maybe the Buffalo Bills. But we've seen that not work out as of lately, right? And so I'm not going to say like I'd rather have Tua and the Miami offense over the Bills, but it's set up so that there's a system. Mike McDaniels has come in and brought that San Francisco system there, and it's working really well. Tua statistically is the best quarterback in the league. He's not, obviously he's not, but he looks really, really good on paper. He looks good in games. Besides when he's literally concussed and almost dead on the field, Miami hasn't lost, and their losses, even when he was out, are to good teams. They didn't like throw a game away to a bad team.
Yeah.
Like these teams are all basically 500.
Because that was, I think that was the Joe Flacco Jets too. That was not the Zach Wilson Jets, I believe. Which I say in favor, in benefit of the Dolphins that the team they lost to was not the Zach Wilson Jets.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
so I'm all over the Miami Dolphins. I think that they might be the second best team in the league. There are other teams in the AFC that I like that could go against Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and beat them on a night by night basis. I mean, Tennessee almost did it somehow. I don't actually trust them, but we've seen the Bengals beat them in the playoffs. We know that the Bills can beat them. I don't know in the playoffs, but we know they can beat them in the regular season. But I like Miami a lot. I think that they're in a different tier than pretty much anyone else.
I'm gonna touch back on that. The one thing I want to say, Chiefs. I think Chiefs is that sort of an imposter, like in a positive way, like that. Definitely think so. Definitely think. Have to think if I was doing a power ranking right now, they'd be number one. Can't think of a team I'd put number two, or like a team I'd put over them. I mean, when I look at the NFC, I don't see a true imposter. I mean, 49ers are a question mark to me. They play tonight. We're recording tonight, so we don't have the results of the Monday night game against the Cardinals, but I don't know what to do with them. But I mean, the Giants just lost. Maybe you put the Giants as an imposter, but all the like there's not a team I say is a massive imposter. It's hard to call Tom Brady an imposter, especially they just got a big win against the Seahawks the other week. It's kind of like other than I don't think the Vikings are an imposter. Yeah, I think their 9-1 records maybe overinflated perhaps, but I think I think there'd be either the 1 or the 2 seed in the NFC anyway. Or I think they're a top team in the NFC anyway. So NFC not really. Yeah, AFC I definitely see some bigger Patriots sneaking in there at the 6th seed is kind of sus. We'll touch on that later. Patriots big imposter. Dolphins. One thing I'll just say about Dolphins. Last thing, because I looked it up, but I did not say it because I got sidetracked by Patriots ranting. In the Dolphins' home field advantage, that the away side in afternoon games, the away team the temperature on their sideline can be 30 degrees hotter than the temperature on that's a lot. There's a difference between 70-degree weather and 100-degree weather. And I can only imagine that difference being even more so when you're actually doing something that isn't sitting at the beach. If I'm sitting at the beach or sitting in my room, I feel a 30-degree difference a lot. I can only imagine if you're playing a football game. And that was the conditions they played the Bills in. They played the Patriots in. Don't know about other games. Just wanted to say those 2 games, those 2 victories were with northern teams needing to go to the cold. I believe the Dolphins will now have to go to the cold. They play the Patriots week 18. It's a classic at Miami week 1, at New England week 18. So that'll be an interesting game, especially because that game will probably have playoff implications. But that 100%. Game they will not be getting a 30-degree temperature thing. They're going to be a passing team. I'm hoping for snow that week. It's like January 5th or something. I just wanted to say that they some of these games have been home games with one of the what I have to imagine one of the biggest home field advantages for a team based on stadium. That's all. That's the end of my Dolphins hate.
Hey, no, I agree with you because
We'll talk about it at another episode.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree because we haven't really seen them. I can't think of them going out on the road and having that offense be as high octane.
They play the Texans next week. What is their schedule? Oh, do they play a good team? They play the 49ers December 4th. Oh, that's interesting. They play the Chargers, Bills, Packers, Patriots, Jets. That's not an easy schedule. Packers did lose at some point. They lost on Thursday night, right? They lost on Thursday night, yeah. But I wouldn't call the Packers a freebie the way the Texans are. Other than the Texans, they have 6 hard games to end the year. You know what? If the Jets have Flacco, I call that a hard game too. I call Jets with Flacco hard. There, enough on the Dolphins.
100%.
Enough on this.
I think to wrap this up, I think I'll just say that once again, I won't go through every team currently in the playoff picture, but I have problems with every single one of them, and I even have problems with Kansas City. Like I said, the defense can give up points, but if you want a specific, but Jared, I'm a Ravens fan, and I want to know. Drop a comment, okay, in the video podcast. I will answer you why I think the Titans are an imposter, why I think the Ravens are imposter, why I think the Bills, Seattle, Cowboys, I don't care. I don't discriminate. They're imposters. Okay. I haven't seen enough from anybody.
Cool thing for the Ravens. because Ravens offense, sometimes they have trouble getting stuff going offensively.
Super hot and cold. Yeah, super hot and cold.
Kyle Hamilton's been looking good. That was I know he was mock drafted to go like top 5, which was kind of crazy for a safety, but he fell to the Ravens at like 14 or something. And I guess he's been performing well. But that's all.